Time Tunnel is an adventure puzzle type game in which your aim is to use a time machine to travel between different ages to solve puzzles, find the 7 scriptures and become the king of the gnomes. I first managed to get my hands on this game courtesy of one of my favourite Commodore 64 gaming magazines. This brings me to the infamous Zap 64 issue with the game that never was, Catechis. Just as issue 42 was about to go to press back in October 1988, an injunction was served against the makers of Catechis, because the makers of R-Type deemed it too close a copy. This meant that the demo that was meant to be on the tape had to be removed and replaced with another game, US Gold's Time Tunnel. With this delay, the issue was already about a week late hitting the shelves, so they didn't want to delay the issue even further by changing the cover. US Gold offered them Time Tunnel as a replacement and said it was unpublished. In the rush to get the magazine out, Newsfield believed that claim, but it was previously released by US Gold in 1985. The cheek! Anyway, this is the cassette that came with the magazine in the end, with a brief explanation of what had happened on the label. The outcome? Activision, who owned the rights for R-Type, was not quite happy about it and threatened with a lawsuit, but recognised Manfred Trenzy's talent and offered him a deal. Rainbow Arts was supposed to program the R-Type versions for the Commodore 64 and the Amiga. The latter was delegated to Factor 5 and was in return allowed to sell an altered version of Catechis again. The rest is history. R-Type was released for both systems, and Catechis was altered for some parts and then remade and sold under the name of Dinaris. The differences? Well, that's for another video. Wow, talk about going slightly off topic there. Sorry about that. Anyway, to earn your right to the throne, you must undertake perilous voyages back and forth in time to locate, acquire and return 7 pages of scripture. Funny that, I always thought your character was a little Santa Claus fellow at first. Mind you, we didn't get any instructions with the cover tape. The adventure starts inside the mansion of an aged but powerful gnome king. As is the tradition in the gnome society, whenever a king reaches his 350th birthday, procedures commence to choose a successor. Your recent accomplishments for a youth of 114 years makes you a prime contender for the throne. But the feats required to achieve your goal are not easy, as quite a few of the puzzle-solving items need to be taken from one period of history to another before a problem can be solved. There's a way to access a secret storage room by pressing and holding the fire button for 2 or 3 seconds. There you can store up to 3 or 4 objects, but will also find the torch, necessary to complete the game. Teletransport back to your original situation, holding the button again. Think of this as like a giant pocket, which you have been temporarily miniaturised into. Personally, I found the first puzzle of the game where you had to get the time tunnel up and running in the first place the hardest, but once that was underway, I was soon bouncing around the time zone of mythological Greece and magical Persia, and in no time. The puzzles do seem a little bit convoluted, however, the original game manual had its own clues, so it was much easier to find out what to do if you had that to hand. The first time I played this, from demo cassette however, I hadn't got the foggiest idea where I was going with it, but I was still strangely fascinated and intrigued. I'll be sure to link the game manual up in the video description for you to look through if you want to get back into this game after all these years. And for those who have just about had enough of the puzzles, there's also a solution I'll link up there too. When you first play this game, it's probably going to feel the same as going on a blind date. You go along, and the first thing you see is a kilogrammatically challenged woman with hairy armpits. On first appearances you say to yourself,
"Sod this, I'm out of here."
But when you sit down and talk to her, you realise she has a great sense of humour and a great personality. That's Time Tunnel. As puzzle solving is in the heart of the game, there are very few enemies, and they can't really kill you. They only send you back to the mansion. This can be felt as though there is something lacking in the game, but I think the loneliness of the quest adds much to the general atmosphere, and there truly is something magical about it all. I would recommend Time Tunnel to the real Commodore 64 arcade adventurers out there, as there is some addictive qualities if you can look past the graphics and are not too bothered about the in-game sounds. Although it doesn't look anything special, and you know it isn't, there is definitely some initial appeal. Once you've deciphered the final message and combined the 7 scriptures, then that's it. You've completed the game. Not sure why this is back to front. Let's flip it around. The daimyo carries the staff. Okay, so now maybe I'm a wonderful, powerful Japanese leader. Happy days. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and let me know your thoughts and memories of Time Tunnel in the comments section. If you're enjoying the nostalgia and are new to the channel, then maybe consider subscribing to the channel and joining me on this epic journey, revisiting the classic Commodore titles of yesteryear. Hopefully, I'll see you all in the next video. I'm William Shatner. Until then, bye for now.